This was a tutorial for the freehand roof bunker. It goes over problems that you can encounter when doing it, as well as showing you visually how to do it and the disadvantages of it, or potential disadvantages of it, and how to mitigate or effectively remove them. So something to get used to when doing this is that you need to know where your foundation is. It's very important. If you see here, this is what the default socket orientation is when placed and connected to a socket. You need one side connected. Notice how on this one, that is not the same as that. That's because the inner socket is not connected to the foundation. However, in this case, it's too close and the walls actually connect, even though the foundation sockets are not connected. So watch my compass. Notice how it moves to the right slightly. Rewind if you need to watch again. But I'm rotating my view to the right to make the left side slightly more and more offset from the foundation socket, so that the wall will be at the minimum distance to where it won't connect when you place the wall there. You can shoot through the gap here. You can get the gap about half that size, and it makes it pretty much useless to shoot through it. But if you just add a wall here, the gap is entirely fine, as long as you have a fairly tight offset for your foundation. On the top, there will also be a gap. That's just how this works. But the easy fix to that is to just place you just place a floor frame there, and that fixes that. So placing a floor tile here does not actually stop it because it's not connected to the wall socket. There are two sockets there that you can connect to. You can connect with the top triangle floor tile or with the wall socket, right? And so if you look right here, notice it's going between connecting to the wall and connecting to the triangle tile above it. If you connect it to the wall, then obviously you can't cut the wall in half because it has something connected to the top. That's just how the game works. So here I'm intentionally lowering the wall to exaggerate a potential failure point, and it's that it is not openable from the inside if you make the height difference of the foundation too great. That's just, yep. So a problem you can run into when doing this is that you can get the gap actually too small, and what will happen is if you rotate the wall, then it will actually connect the corners, even though they're not initially connected. And the only way to fix that is by rotating them back in a specific order like this. That's just something to watch out for. It's also important to make the floor frame the same tier as the wall of the roof bunker, otherwise they can then break the frame, and if they have the angle, they can then shoot through the hole created there to splash doors on the inside, as well as damage the roof bunker wall at the same time, effectively reducing its health. So I want to talk a little bit about the weaknesses of this design. The only weakness really is that if you place the foundations too high, then obviously you can soft slide the foundation and go underneath the wall as there is a missing foundation. On the other side, due to the sockets not being aligned correctly. That is easily preventable. Just build low to the ground. The wall prevents splash from underneath to the door past it, and it's not a problem, really. The two other things are that there is a gap in both the top of the wall between the floor tile and the wall, and between the two walls where the socket of the foundation is not connected. That is pretty much not a concern, because now I know I saw a video where someone shot a bunch of rockets through, got the TC and all that. It works. It does. You can do that if you don't make the gap tight enough. And what I mean by that is that if you make the gap tight enough basically to where when you flip the walls, they reconnect, that is pretty much about as tight as you can get. It's like sub 1 degree angle of difference between that and the walls automatically connecting when they're placed. So if you do that, then the only way to actually shoot a rocket through that gap, on the side that is, you can still shoot one through the top if you break the floor frame or the floor tile, or the floor tile or the floor frame tile. But if you upgrade those to be the same tier as the bunker itself, that's not a problem, because by the time they break that, the wall's gone. And the problem of shooting through the two walls, the gap there, the fix for that is essentially when it's so tight, as I've shown with the walls reconnecting when they flip, that degree of tightness to the wall here is so tight that the only way to actually rocket through it is to just suicide rocket, right? So you can't actually do much to it in the form of rockets. You can explosive ammo through it, but you don't have the angle to reach the TC, as it's a circle design, or it's got a corner, and realistically, it doesn't change anything, because this design, this roof bunker is not meant to be in a single TC base, right? So without having overlap, if they get the TC, then it's bad. But because you're using a base that relies on, well, not relies, but a base that incorporates having a floor or having a roof tile open an armored wall, you need to have external TCs. That's just the way you build bases like that. So if you were to have a 2x2 roof bunker base, right? Or have just a big clan base, for example, using roof bunkers, right? Where you place the twig, it does the thing. Including the newer ones, where you do the half-height twig above it, that makes it seal itself, right? You do that, you have like 5 of those in your base, right? You don't have a TC in the center, they just get the TC and then they can open those, and they're useless. That's the reason bases like this incorporate multi-TC. Not multi-TC. They incorporate external or multi-TC designs into the base so that that's not a weak point. And I'm also going to be, whenever I get it done, releasing the video with my base. I use this little circle design here with that there as a main base. It's very strong, and its expansions are all pretty good. It doesn't have like inner peaks, just because of the nature of it, and it not being like a big group base. It's meant more for like a trio. But it's like 30 plus rockets, which is it's really all you need. Like not for the TC itself, because loot is split and has external TCs that overlap privilege, right? So like when they get the main TC, they can't just open the armored wall and then hit the doors, you know, like they still have to go through the armored wall or have chosen a path that gets it plus the TC plus the other stuff, or start splashing them or whatever. It's very good base. Working on making tutorial for that. Takes a while.